So in today's video, I'm going to share with you my most popular golf lesson, which if you're somebody who struggles with your ball striking, we're going to transform your ball striking in under 10 minutes. So very often golfers will come and see me, and I've actually got a golfer coming in, very low handicapper, who's struggling with this exact thing after I've filmed this video. So they'll have a perfect lie on the mat here, but obviously on the fairway or in the semi-rough, and they'll stand up and they'll put a swing on it, and they'll kind of catch the ground before the golf ball. And you can see it might be nice and accurate, but it's gone nowhere, carrying 77 yards, rolling out 111. So then on their next swing, they'll stand up and think, I just don't want to bury the club in the ground. Thin it, and it's that low missile, it's off target, carrying 128, rolling out 181. But bearing in mind, I'm only hitting 7-iron in here, and when you watch the best players in the world, they make it look so simple to be able to stand up, put that effortless swing on it, and hit it fairly accurately with the distance they require. So if you want to be a good ball striker, the one thing you need to be able to do is get that club traveling so that we collect golf ball and then ground. So it's controlling where the low point of our golf swing is, but not just how far forward and backward it is, but also how high or low it tends to be. So what I'll see with a lot of golfers, more so high handicappers, is that when they make their golf swing, as they swing down, the bottom of their swing will be back behind the golf ball, and they'll either hit the ground behind the ball and fat it, or they'll miss behind and the club will travel up and thin it or top it. Maybe some of the better players, though, do it a little bit differently. And the first bad one I hit there, the low point was still ahead of the golf ball, but was too low so that the ground got in the way early. So in today's video, I'm going to work on a couple of things that are going to help you move the low point ahead of the golf ball, but make sure we're not burying it too deep into the ground. So I always talk about first things first. What do we need to do is we need to, first of all, be making contact with the ground at all, which for a lot of golfers is a bit of a stretch. They say, I never take a divot, I very rarely even touch the grass. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that the club is hitting the ground, even if it's in the wrong place. So have a few swings, and the driving range is great to do it because you're not taking a divot every time. But then once you're touching the ground like we've seen there, then what we're going to say is imagine that we've got a line running this side of the ball and this side of the ball. We're going to set up, and we need to find a way of making sure when we hit the ground, we're going to hit this side of the ball. And the easy way of doing that is even if you move a little bit away from the target in the backswing, you need to make sure that you move the mass of your body ahead of the golf ball, and then you can swing. But for a lot of golfers, even feeling that you don't really let the weight move, and you stay more centered, then move towards the target, and we can see I definitely touched that side of the golf ball. So the first thing I do with everyone is we do a few practice swings, scuff a line on there, practice touching the head. And then we're going to say, right, what we're going to do is we're going to set up and try and make that swing. And instantly we'll see a better strike. The ball's travelled more in the direction we want, onto the green, and that's the perfect shot. And we can see there, low point was 3.2 inches ahead, so the club was travelling down 4 degrees. But unfortunately, I don't see that straight away with most golfers. So what we'll sometimes see is that the practice swing, they'll do that great, but then on the actual shot, they actually don't touch the ground still, so they'll get ahead and they'll top it or thin it. So this is where I would then say, right, we're going to use a tee. So we're actually going to pop the tee about 2-3 inches ahead of the golf ball. And again, we're going to set up, but we're going to imagine that we're going to hit in line with the tee. There we go. So not only are we getting the low point ahead, but we're getting the low point a bit lower so that it's going to be touching the ground. And then we just want to try and hit the shot. But we're not looking at the ball now, we're looking at trying to touch that tee. And like I said, I can see there for me, if I want to be there, get to that tee, definitely need to feel like I move, certainly my lower body, a lot more towards the target. and we'll set up, try and hit the green tee, and the ball should get in the way. Felt perfect, the tee moved. And again, we can see there, low point 4.5 inches ahead. Club's travelled down 5.4 degrees, and it's another one on the green. Now, you might be working through this with me, and you might say, right, that's easy, that's all taken care of. But what I'll tend to see with golfers is sometimes they'll be getting that low point ahead, but they'll really be kind of crashing into the ground. So what we need to do is we're going to get that feel that we make the backswing. We're going to feel as we move towards the target, we're actually moving a little down. But then as we start down, we're going to let that left leg start to straighten. The left knee's going to move up, the left hip's going to move back and up. And that's going to stop us really burying the club into the ground. And we can hear there, I'm making contact with the ground, but less of a dig into the ground. So I think for a lot of golfers, they'll talk about trying to stay down on the shot. And when they stay down, rather than hit the club back here, we'll see lots of this movement on the way through. So we're going to feel from the top, shift down and towards the target, and then up and out of the way. Again, strike felt great. Low point 5 inches ahead, club's travelled down 5.8 degrees. There's another one on the green. Very nice and solid. And as much as golfers will talk to me about, how am I looking halfway back? How am I looking kind of towards the top of my swing? Am I shallow in the golf club? The biggest mistake I see with golfers is an inability to control where the low point is and how high and low the low point is. Now, when you watch tour players, the amount their low point moves around is tiny. And there's a definite correlation that the higher the handicap, the bigger the low point distance is from front to back, but also the more up and down. So if you can really practice that drill, and if you need to put the tee in the ground, get it 2-3 inches ahead, it's amazing how much everything else takes care of itself. And the one added bonus this will give you is that if you're consistent with your low point, you'll then start striking the golf ball in the same part of the swing every time. Obviously, if my low point moves further forward, I'm catching the ball earlier. If it moves back, I'm catching it later. So if you're catching the ball in the same place, there's a better chance to understand how the club's moving direction, path through impact, but also where that club face is. And very often, particularly golfers who practice on TrackMan or another launch monitor, will tell me that their path and face are changing all the time. Well, if you're catching the ball in a different part of the golf swing every time, your swing itself could be very consistent, but you just might be inconsistent in where you catch the ball. So again, we're going to have one practice swing, down and towards the target, straighten that lead leg, and then into the golf ball. Felt the best strike of the lot. Straight at the target, 4.1 inches ahead, 5 degrees down, carry in 165 and stop in 165. But if you're not a great ball striker, this is absolutely the skill that you struggle with. And like I said at the start of the video, this is the number one lesson that I give to probably 99% of golfers that walk through the door to see me face to face. And certainly with my online lessons, we see lots of poor strikes, and helping golfers understand, first of all, what we're trying to do, and then how to do it, guarantees that you hit better shots than ever before.